listening to the Giggles Live Radio Network.
You're listening to Portin' Stuff on the Giggles Live Radio Network. And we are returned to the Portin' Stuff podcast. Third attempt, and this time it shall work for all of us. We had a port go out on the Portin' Stuff. Now we got
just knocked my mic over. I know.
Who would have thought that a microphone wouldn't balance on top of a candle? I would have never. I mean, the studios have been doing that for ages.
You know, I thought I'd give it a try. We're a little rusty, but we're back.
Yeah, apparently one of the ports is bad in our sound machine here, so we'll go take a look and see what that's all about.
Thus the name Portin' Stuff.
Yeah, so we Tommy's been doing the deep dive on a bunch of ships as usual, and the ship that he wanted to discuss today was the
Morro Castle.
The Morro Castle. What made you gravitate towards the Morro Castle?
What interests me is that the Morro Castle operated for the Atlantic Gulf West Indies lines, AGWI lines, and so did our Bahama Star.
And we didn't know that before. Like, this is something new that we didn't know that.
Yeah.
As far as we knew, Bahama Stars was the Puerto Rico lines, the Bahama lines, and then the ocean.
Yeah.
Indies?
Yeah. Atlantic Gulf West Indies.
All right.
Yep. They
And they were the original owners of Bornquin?
Yeah, they were the original owners of the Bornquin. What interests me is that the Morro Castle burnt up and beached itself on September 8th, 1934.
Beached itself. Now, why did it beach itself?
Because it burned.
It burned.
Yeah, it was a ship fire.
So it was completely abandoned. Everybody was off.
Yeah. Same owners as the Bornquin. The Morro Castle burnt up. Then, as many of you know, many years later, it was the Yarmouth Castle, which burnt, and the Bahama Star was the hero. Captain Carl Brown had to be the captain of two ships that day.
Yeah, that's right.
One decided to abandon.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I just thought that was really interesting because they also usually said that the Yarmouth Castle was one of the worst ship fires since the Morro Castle.
So the Yarmouth Castle, if I remember, it was like 65-ish, right?
Yeah, 65.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is don't put castle in the name of your ship or it'll burn down.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I think we also learned, too, that they stopped using wood as one of the primary building components for ships. Like that turned out to be a bad idea.
When the Yarmouth Castle burned, that actually led to the Bahama Star having to go out of operation because of those laws.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's what led to her becoming Legionelle for Western Steamship Line. I think there might have just been Eastern Steamship Line fans that lived in the West.
Well, that totally makes sense because that happened around 65, and then she was sold out to the
sold 68.
60
60 or 69. Yeah, and then Goran Lightfoot made the song in 69. What's interesting is that was like a year before she sunk.
Yeah, but then there was a transition from wood and metal, and then to riveted metal, and then to welded metal, which I don't know what the timeline is of that.
They were talking about the superstructure. They couldn't use a wooden superstructure, so that was including. I'm pretty sure she was built by less famous, like AGWI lines. Not everyone's heard of that. Most people have heard of Cunard Line, and most people have heard of White Star, but because of that publicity, they get a lot of money, and they have enough money to use a metal superstructure.
So I haven't heard of those names until I met you and started talking with you.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like big ship fans in general.
Oh, big ship fans, yeah.
Yeah, like most, like all Titanic. If you're really a Titanic fan, you'll know what company she operated for.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so wild. The transformation of an industry. And I was thinking the thing about ships is that their history in comparison to airlines is so much longer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Like-
when did the Wright brothers do their first flight? It was like 100 years ago or something?
Yeah, maybe 115, 120 years or something.
Yeah, 1923. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they made their first prototype in the 1800s, I think. Remember, flying machines have been around for a little while if you include hot air balloons and the...
Blimps.
Yeah, blimps. But the airplanes came much later.
Right.
Although ships came way before then.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
watching a thing where they were talking about hospital ships. It's
Yeah,
like documentary, and they had hospital ships like in the 1700s back
Yeah.
on the old pirate ships. Yeah.
Back in the... Yeah, they actually had ships before
Well, the Vikings- the
even the
Vikings-
first century.
What about
Yeah.
a Viking ship? What does that go to? The 1400s or something?
Yeah, probably 15th century around. They had ships even before the first century.
Imagine how many ships are laying at the bottom of the ocean. How
Right.
crazy is that?
Right. And how many it took to advance the technology of sailing
Yeah.
and having a bucket to keep throwing the water out.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't watertight, but you had to keep them floating.
Yeah.
How much money did the guy that invented the ballast take, and how much did he make? I wonder.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
was
sure. A lot of things gain popularity over time, so it's not like he was just raking it in immediately.
Yeah, I know.
There's like had 2 ships, then 4 ships, then 6 ships, then 16 ships, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
something that grew.
they grow. Yeah, they grow gradually, but then they grow exponentially over time.
So we find out that Bornquin was built in Pennsylvania, correct?
Pennsylvania? No, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
Very close.
The look of that was the most disdainful look I've received as a father from this young man.
You were close though. You were close. West Coast,
Up on the
East
up
Coast.
East Coast, yeah, the
East
Northeast,
Coast.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
At least I've been to both of those states, so it's easy to get them mixed up if you've been to them a little bit.
Yeah.
The original company was
The original company, Atlantic Gulf West Indies.
Atlantic Gulf West Indies. Okay.
Yeah.
So Massachusetts, I'm assuming there's a gigantic harbor where there's a bunch of ships and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I looked on Google Maps. They have some pretty big harbors. I was trying to look for the launch site of the Bornquin because we can actually tell she launched on September 24th. So on September 24th, have a party for her, celebrate the 93rd anniversary. She was lost.
That's
She was
right.
launched, in 1930s.
have to do the math on that.
That's one week before our big expo.
Yeah,
The reason I was asking about their port is because our port is having one of their biggest events that they have every year. The big banana festival is coming up
yeah.
here really soon. It's like next weekend or
the
weekend
30th,
after?
yeah.
Yeah, the 30th. It's the day before our
weeks.
Collectors Expo.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to make it out there to the port and then get over to the Collectors Expo.
One of the cool things you could do if you do make it out, come out early and sign up for a tour, and you'll get to go around and get a close-up look to the happenings around the port of Wainimi.
nice.
Wouldn't that be a blast?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Do you think we could record an episode over there, maybe?
That would be kind of fun, huh?
Yeah, we can bring the stuff and then try to find an opportunity for
Yeah.
sure. Why not?
Yeah, let's see.
It would be cool to talk to people like, hey, do you know about the Lodge now? And
Yeah.
maybe we could do that. Like what we've noticed on KVTA is every time we talk about the Lodge now, like the phones light up. And
Yeah.
everybo's got a story.
Everybody gets excited and it's definitely one of those subjects that everybody wants to hear more about, wants to talk about.
Yeah, I was in the park over here, and there's a gentleman that I know. If you want to know about the Lodge now, you talk to me. And I'm like, oh, so I guess you're listening on the radio. He goes, yeah, I heard you guys talking about it. And he was telling me that the day that it ran aground, he was headed out to a rig, an oil rig or something, and that he has a picture of it when it first rolled over. And I'm like, okay, well, show me the picture. I got to find it. So hopefully, I've been trying to tell people like, dig up those old photographs because
Yeah.
they're really going to
Yeah.
be cool to add to the display. We're going to have a really good display at the expo.
We'd love to add some stuff from her
Yeah,
Lodge and
we
L
got-
days because a lot of the stuff we
Yeah,
have is
we
like
got-
Bahama Star
Yeah.
and the
Yeah, also...
Rosa Star days.
Yeah. Also, if you have like any tickets or anything, we'd love to see them.
Yeah.
Like leftover relics from her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
For example, name some examples. What are some of the stuff that you could see in our display?
Well, we can see the menus. Remember, all this stuff helps us take a look into our history. That's one thing that we want to do is give people this chance to see this great ship.
We have a farewell. I think we have a farewell dinner menu from the Arosa Star.
Oh, yeah.
We have a couple of menus from the Bahama Star.
Yeah, we got some menus. Yeah, from the Bahama Star. And then...
Some matchbook covers.
Oh, yeah. And then we got the Rosa Star ticket. We got the certificate that allows you to board, like the paperwork.
Yeah, boarding passes, all kinds of stuff.
That is so cool. And I'm holding a postcard that you found of the Bahama Star. And the tale and the history is where it's at, because so many people in this county, like, oh, yeah, the Lodge and L, it's over there. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all they got to say. And then, I introduce you guys to it. And then suddenly we're digging up all this stuff. And then relating it to the sports expo. This is what collectors do.
Yeah.
They find something and like, wait a minute, I want to learn more about this. And then pretty soon you start finding out things. And you have to research things too. Like some people say, well, did you know that? Well, wait a minute. That's the wrong ship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like with the Titanic and the Britannica, there's
The Olympic.
the Olympic,
Yeah.
right, where people were getting them mixed up, and then these crazy stories evolve. And
What complicates the Bahama Stars story? Tell Stephen what complicates the Bahama Stars story.
Well, Eastern Steamship Lines decided it'd be a good idea. The ship called the New Bahama Star.
the new Bahama Star.
Yeah.
They made another ship.
And then once they decided to sell the star, the actual star, they decided it'd be a good idea to take off that N-E and W from that one.
So a lot of the ephemera and stuff that you'll find of the Bahama Star is actually a new Bahama Star. So you have to actually really look closely and make sure you have the right ship, because they're similar but definitely not the same.
Okay, so here's something funny. Like my wife, I said, yeah, that's from the Lodge and Out. Well, how do you know? And how do I know? And then she asked me to tell a story about the big piece that we're going to be using as a display. And I'm like, well, this big old wave came and it crashed and it threw it way back. Well, how do you know? And I'm like, okay, like, how do I know? Well, because I'm telling you, that's why. She goes, no, but how do you know? And I'm like, so we pulled up a photograph on the internet and we zoomed it in. I go, you see those rivets? That's how we tell. And so anybody could bring a piece of metal in and say, oh, this is from the Lodge and L. But there's going to be ways for us to like say, well, wait a minute, that doesn't have rivets.
There's big boat rivets too.
Yeah.
Big rivets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you get into collecting and stuff, and that's part, I guess, because I'm still learning, but like the verification part of it is like, okay, you say this is what, and then you have to verify it, and so that's kind of like what's happening here. We're trying to dig up the history of it, and then we find a little hiccup, going, well, wait a minute, there was a sister ship named the New Bahama Star, and then they took off the new, and so now. Is this really the Lodge and L?
Oh no,
we thought it was, or
I'll ask him because I'll send him a picture. I go, hey, come across something. Is this the right one?
Yeah. Just so you know, if you come to the expo, you'll definitely notice the difference between the real Bahama Star and the new Bahama Star.
Maybe we'll bring some new Bahama Star stuff that you could hold on to, so you could show people the difference. If somebody says, hey, what's the difference? Because we have some. And unfortunately, the new Bahama Star, being newer, had a whole bunch more postcards and stuff. So you have to actually look to find the Lodge and L stuff. Yeah.
Remember the Bahama Star has a flat bridge.
Flat bridge.
It's like, it goes the entire length of the ship, but then like the top, the captain's bridge is where that one is not as wide as, like, it doesn't go the full length of the full beam of the ship. Yeah.
Okay.
And also on the new Bahama Star, it's a little more round. It looks a little more aerodynamic.
Yeah, the new Bahama Star looks a little bit more like like a newer ship.
Yeah, it does.
It's so funny today during beach cleanup, it was really cool. Martha McQueen LeJohn brought her sorority sisters out, and we had a big group, and we're out there, and I found a ring. And it's definitely Fugazi. It's not. I was all excited because I'm like, oh, it's real gold. Look, I found a gold ring, right? And it's not. I took it closer. But that's kind of like same thing. Somebody could come up and go, yeah, look at this. This is a whatever year 1934 picture of the Bahama Star. I'm like, well, no, it's not. Well, how do you know that? By looking at this? Well, look at the bridge. And that's the fun of this stuff that we're diving into, is like we're learning and we're verifying.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of interesting.
So we found some bad reviews about the Bahama Star about the experience.
One said that they went in 73. Okay, first up, the real Bahama Star sank in 1970, and when she sunk, she was under the name La Janelle. She had the nameplates of Bahama Star, so I believe she was still Bahama Star till the end, but people called her La Janelle.
Wow, it is interesting because everybody's got a story.
Yeah,
just a matter of okay, well, that's a good story.
Well, the reviews that they're writing about the Bahama Star was the new Bahama Star. They weren't actually on our ship. The reviews for the most part on our ship are good. Yeah. There was one lady. Remember the one? Was that a Rosa Star? The one postcard that we saw.
So wait a minute. They had Yelp back in the.
It was just message groups or chat groups where they're like talking about. Do you remember blah 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 blah? And
then do you remember the Bahama Star? If so, tell us your story.
Oh wow!
And we going through it, like less than half of it was about the actual Bahama Star.
Yeah. And I remember the Bahama Star. It used to be the Rosa Star, of course,
out of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but then but there's another ship that replaced her called the Rosa Sky. And remember?
Rosa Sky.
Yeah, you got that one mixed up, didn't you, Dad?
Well, yeah, there's the Arosa lines, and we actually have some cool stuff from the Arosa lines as part of our display too.
Yeah, what's interesting is that the Arosa Star, they said that they named the company Arosa after the guy who owns it. Went to I think it said Swedish Village.
Oh right.
Yeah, and he said that, and I guess he had such a good experience that he decided to name it Arosa Lines after them.
Oh, well, and then we know that Borinquin was named because that's like a local slang term for Puerto Rico, which that's not an easy word to say. So why would that be a fun slang word? I want to really complicate.
I don't think they said slang. I think it was a native word.
Just a local native word?
I think it was the native word.
It doesn't even sound like Spanish, though. Boriquin.
Yeah,
Boriquin.
Oh man,
maybe we're massacring its pronunciation.
I can't even say it in slow motion.
It was.
Well, there is a city in Puerto Rico, Borinquin, because when I've looked for stuff, about the ship, a lot of times the city stuff comes up. There's like Hotel Borinquin and all that stuff too.
Yeah, I have seen that somewhere.
But only one Borinquin sat off the shores of Normandy during D-Day and patched up
saved
our heroes.
And only one Borinquin was the first to do at-sea burial, right?
Yeah, and the first and only one to save the Yarmouth Castle.
What's fascinating is there was a colonel that was that went missing from the Borinquin and being transferred from one hospital to another one, and he went missing. And so I want to find out more. I found out very little, just that he went missing. Don't know why he was going where or anything like that, but that he was on there and then he was missing.
Gone overboard?
I mean, I can't imagine where else he would go. I mean, I don't know if he did it on purpose. I don't know if people were tired of transferring him all over the place, but it's kind of an interesting. So hopefully we'll have some more information on that before the expo. Speaking of before the expo, we've still got at least 2 beach cleanups coming up, and one of them is a huge one. Yeah,
today we had about 30 people, maybe. Last week we had 120 people.
Oh, so amazing.
And the work is a lot to be done. We're focusing on the Ormond Lagoon area because there's a lot of bad things going on out there. And hopefully we're going to be able to bring some pressure to make it better. But it's crazy how cool it is out there. And today is the official end of the snowy plover nesting season.
Oh.
And so you can see all these little baby birds. And they all stay together and they run around. And they're really cool. And we saw a whole bunch of them today. And it just kind of makes it worth it to know that, hey, we're cleaning up an area where there's a lot of sensitive birds and running around. But, I have a huge respect for the snowy plovers in particular because they really are really keen to what's going on around them. And they stay they'll stay close to you. They're not really skittish until you get really close to them. And so it's really nice just to be able to watch them. And it seems like they trust us because we've been out there for 8 years, and I don't know what the lifespan is for a snowy plover, but it seems like through environmental adaptation, they know that, hey, these are good guys picking up trash.
It does feel like that. No, absolutely. I feel like that for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's crazy at all. I think because there's something to be said for like intent and just general feeling. You know what I mean? Like I think you're right. I'm almost positive that you're right because you can see the way the animals act when you're out there and you're trying to clean up around and do it. It's just I can totally see that.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like they're cheering us on, like, yeah, go get it. Yeah, we're over here doing our thing, but keep doing what you're doing.
They're the ultimate like friend zone bird. They're like, yeah, you can get close to me, but not too close.
Yeah, once you get too close, they just okay, see you later.
Yeah, and then they just go a little more space.
We call it the snowy pea shuffle, and we say they shuffle around many dangerous things, and it's true, and that's what we're trying to address. And so, next week. So I digressed a little bit, but next week on the 23rd, we expect probably close to 500 people in and around Ormond Beach, Alaska 261 Memorial. We have 4 groups, Surf Rider, Coastal Keepers, Wainimi Beach Cleanup, and another group that gathers down at Arnold Road.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so it's going to be, and then we're going to have a targeted area, and we go and we try to fill up as many dumpsters as we can and get all that trash off the beach.
And the great thing about Coastal Cleanup Days is there's a lot of communities that are actually doing it on that day, and we have people that are cleaning up our barrancas.
Barrancas.
That's not a word I used when I lived up in Northern California, but now I say barrancas.
It is the largest single-day volunteer effort in the world.
So awesome.
Yeah, and so it's a big day, and we our history with it since 2015, I believe, has been 200 to 300 people.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this is happening
Next week, a week from today.
Next week, and so where would people meet up? They meet up at the Alaskan Memorial.
Alaska 261 Memorial or Parking Lot C. So Surf Rider, Coastal Keepers will probably be at either Perkins Road or Parking Lot C. There's a little bit of an issue right now with Perkins Road. It's a little dangerous. There's some things going on out there that need to be addressed. But I think regardless, we're gonna do all we can safely to.
Same deal. 7:30 for the early, 8:30 for the normal folks.
This one starts 9 to 12. It's a
9?
Yeah, 9 to 12. But we'll be out there at
Yeah.
7:30. We're always out there getting ready and having fun, and that's what it's all about.
nice.
I'm going to drop off some Combate t-shirts, get them to you so that we can get some t-shirts to anybody that might want to walk away with a free t-shirt.
Oh yeah,
But we don't want to just hand them to everybody at the beginning because then they'll just throw them and it'll be part of the problem.
yeah.
Like I've noticed there's like 75% of people love a new free t-shirt, but then the other 25% just throw them away.
But if you got to work for something, I think it's appreciated more.
Yeah.
Like today we worked, and the women that came out, the sisters of the sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha, AKA, I was so impressed because sometimes people come out and they don't realize, hey, this is work. And so we described the mission, and we have a map, and we strategize, and we get everyone together, and we say, okay, here we go. Well, the first step of the process is to march down the beach about a mile or 3/4 of a mile. And that's a trek, right?
Yeah.
And these ladies, they did every step along the way, and we stuck together as a team, and we did a really good job today.
Yeah, we got to get that lagoon under control because that was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
I hated even having my daughter. I mean, you could see there's some of the birds and stuff just couldn't take it, and we're laying there, and you're like going, I didn't even want my daughter close to it. It was so gnarly.
Yeah, that's why we need to get people involved, and like you.
So they have lagoons.
Yeah, there's a lagoon, and it's just got so much trash. That's where we found you found like a bowling pin.
So we find everything
Oh.
over the years. You should see the things we found. We found like mannequins. We've probably found 1,000 pairs of shoes, if not more.
One of my goals, if I ever get like a museum type of a brick and mortar museum or whatever, is to get a plexiglass the length of one wall, and then we just fill it with the interesting trash that we find.
Yeah,
and we clean it up a little bit, but we don't want none of the icky. But it is interesting when you see the kind of things that you find out there.
Stuffed animals. We have found, you would not believe if you go through my Facebook profile over the years, the amount of stuffed animals. Really cool. Some of them are really cool.
Maddie, when me and Maddie did the cleanup with you, Maddie found evidence that somebody's not going to be a father, which is nice, kind of.
That's not,
maybe not necessarily on the beach, but
yeah, it's kind of luck. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you doing that every week. You're always there, and it's just so much hard work, and it's got to feel like it goes unnoticed sometimes, but it's so important. And the only way that you're actually making a difference is if you do it every week, because it just keeps coming. The trash keeps coming.
Yeah, you gotta address it you do a little bit each week, whether it's your room, you could kind of keep it clean. Just do a little bit, but if you wait for several months and then you go to clean your room, it's like, I gotta do 6 months of laundry, 6 months of trash.
Well, we got to stay on top of that. So beach cleanup every Saturday.
But this Saturday is the California Coastal Cleanup, which is the largest volunteer effort in the world.
Yeah, so find your closest one, or find the one that you want to support and get out there and be involved with it. We also have the Banana Festival coming to the Port of Hueneme. That's on September 30th.
Yeah.
That's a Saturday.
And
then the following day will be the day that we'll finally
go down in history. The second, right?
This stressful, ominous thing that's hanging over my head right now. No, I'm actually so excited about it. It's just that I'm adding enough layers to it to completely stress myself out. But I think it's worth it. But we're going to have more guests. We're going to have a bigger display. We have all kinds of fun stuff.
But the coolest thing is what we're going through here with this lodge now, because it is giving me an insight into the mindset of collecting, right?
Yeah.
And that was Magoo. And
shout out
to Magoo.
Shout out to our traffic dog.
Yeah. But when you
somebody's in the street,
dude, he's got a big bark.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he got some bass.
Yeah. Big subwoofer in the back.
And also, I'd like to let you all know there's gonna be something there that you might know. It's like something that you'll only see one of. It's a vintage card, a cigarette pack card that
cigarette pack card
of our Lodginelle.
Really?
She was born Quinn.
No way.
1933, I believe.
How
right?
did you find that?
Yeah, we haven't been able to find another one anywhere. But yeah, a tobacco chewing company by the name of Garberty. I believe it's Garberty out of. It was actually out of Germany. They because we had our cigarette cards that had baseball players. Earlier on, they had actresses and they had like military personnel. Early on, they used our card. They used our tobacco cards to promote. That's how they recruited. In fact, they called them recruit cards. And you would read, and it'd say an Army major can make up to $60 a month doing this, or whatever it is. Yeah, and it was kind of crazy. So, but Garberty made these ships, and they called them ship photos. And somehow I came across the fact that they were made, and I thought, I wonder, and then I couldn't believe it, but I actually found an SS Bornquin in her third year. So it's a rookie card. She definitely didn't have any cards before that.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Amazing.
It is. And again, the mindset of collecting is kind of what this Lodginelle journey is kind of teaching me.
Yeah.
It is, and we'll let you know of opportunities you can get some things from the Lodginelle coming up on our next episode of Port and Stuff. Listen to us every week, wherever podcasts are found. If you've tried to find us someplace and weren't able to, so you've gone somewhere else, chances are we're back on that other place that you were before, because I've gone through and figured out why certain things weren't posting certain places. A very simple fix. It's kind of funny. So anyways, thank you so much for listening, fellas, and thanks for sitting down and talking with us as always. Great show. Thank you. Good job, bud.
Thanks.
Good job, Steven. Thank you for all the hard work you do on our beaches.
Trying.
And thanks for listening to Port and Stuff.
Listening to the Giggles Live Radio Network.
Now we hear Maddie. Listen to the Giggles.